Hey guys, Clancy here. Just wanted to share a quick thought or two with you all regarding the differences between the true self, the false self, and the authentic self. So these are terms which I'm sure all of us have heard a great deal about, and depending on the author or whoever it is that you are reading or watching, the way these can be defined can often be different. But I just want to make a couple quick delineations as I think it might be helpful to folks as they go through their daily lives. So the first thing is the difference between the false self, which is the ego, and the authentic self. Now, the false self is, again, the image of who you think you are, and it's how you want the world to perceive you. The ego has traditionally been something that human beings create to help guard them against the world in which they live, to help them fit in, to help ensure that they can integrate into a culture. Now, the problem is, as we've kind of explored in the past, is that the ego is not all that you are. And for that reason, at some point there will be a tension within your mind. So these two voices arise. There's the voice of the ego, which is fear-based, and is very much concerned that you are going to be thrown out of the community, thrown out of the tribe at any moment for honoring what is the authentic self, right? Which is not the voice of fear, but the voice of love that believes in abundance, that believes in looking out for everyone, not just for yourself. So those instincts are opposed, right? The selfish ego, which is fixated simply on its own preservation and in your survival. And then there's the voice of love, which sees the world very differently. Now, how do we bring this into any type of relationship with the idea of the true self? Right? The true self, per my earlier video, is consciousness. It is awareness. It is what we all fundamentally are at our core. So how does this kind of ladder into the idea of the false self and the authentic self versus the true self? Well, the true self is the foundation, right? It's the full, let's just say it's the full light that you are as a human being. Now, that light coming out of you is going to be obscured or held back by the ego. Right? The ego, in its fearful state, throws up blockers, which essentially prevent the light that is you from getting completely through. Some pieces will get through, but not all of it, because the ego is preventing that from fully coming out into the world. So the true self is obscured by the false self. The authentic self are those pieces of you, of the true self, that actually are allowed to get through. Right? So the light that can get through the ego's filters or lenses, or let's just call them smudges on the lens, what the ego allows to come through is authentically you, because it is the true self unobscured. Now, the key for all of us is, how do we remove a lot of these artificial layers that are preventing the complete true self from entering the present moment? The way we do that is ultimately by being very attuned to our fears, by understanding when we are making decisions out of fear rather than out of love. And as we do that, as we become more aware, more present, more mindful of the choices and decisions that are happening within our mind, the more that these barriers start to dissolve, and then more of us can come through into the moment. So just a quick little thought on true self, false self, authentic self. Hope it helps. Thanks, guys.